What up, y'all? Real quick. So, I just had a thought about something. Play like a champion today. I'm not one of those ones that need a lot of TLC from managers or praise and adulation and stuff like that. I've never been that type of person. I just like to do and just do and do and do and do and do and just reap my rewards. I like to kind of go under the radar. Unless somebody I feel is nowhere near as good or whatever, and I'm like, you know what, come on. That includes management. I mean, I think back to this company I used to work for, and we had this micromanaging manager. We had a manager that we started with, that I started with for, a year or so, whatever. And then, he leaves the company after a few months. That's what it was, after a few months of me getting there. And we get the new manager. And the new manager was like a period, like micromanager, right? And you got some of the top salespeople in the company on this team, and they just was just like, yeah. Like, let us work. Let us get in a rhythm. Let us do what we got to do, And I didn't know this, but like, they would hang around your desk and they would just do these things, and I would just start asking questions, like questions I knew the answers to, because I'm like, I gotta give them something to do, I don't know. I gotta give them something to do, and that's what I used to do. But that's not why I made this video. It was just something I thought was funny. Because I was thinking about the 3 companies that I really liked and why I left, right? Like, this is part of the story that a lot of people don't know, because I'm not going to talk about it to everybody, right? But when I was in financial services, loved it, made a lot of money. And one thing I did was I would come up with ideas, and my vice president would always shoot them down. And even though when they worked, so I would just say, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and then whatever. We had that conversation after a while. So I finally got to the point of like, dude, why every time I come to you, you're like, with a great idea from something that you told me to do. You told me to go talk to these people. You told me to do these things. And when I did it, and I got this information on how they were doing so well and so much better than us, now you're like, you don't like this idea. What is it? If it's not yours, you don't like it? So we finally had that out, right? And he goes, "No, man, I just don't think like you. Your brain thinks so differently, and this, that, and the other." I'm like, "Look, man." He's like, "Look, can you just do stuff? I trust your morals and your values, and your ethics are very good. Your business ethics and the way you do business is very good. I trust it. Just do it. And if something goes wrong, and I know you didn't intend to do it wrong or whatever, you can apologize later." So I learned a very, 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 very good fact early on in my sales career. And that was back in like 1999 when he told me that. And that was early on. And like in 3 months, I had like a huge team. Well, I had like 5 people on my team, and I just advanced really quickly. They were like, "Dude, this dude got the skills." And recruiting and hiring and interviewing, and because I know what a good sales team looks like. They say the right things, and they don't always look a certain way or talk a certain way, because all salespeople, a lot of us are introverts. If I was to tell you what I am, you would be like, "Whoa," But I realized I have to talk in order to get things. If enough people get what they want, you get everything in life that you want. But I think about why I left these jobs. That one was because my grandfather had surgery. I've been going to the office. I was in the office every day religiously. Around 7, you can basically, set your watch to it. I'm going to be there by 8 o'clock every day. And I'm in the office till 6:30, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, unless I was out in the field somewhere. At least to, 5:30, 6, 7, right? I just, that's why I did so well. And while I was burning myself out too, because that was like 6 days a week. Not quite on Saturdays and Sundays, but I still was working, right? And, I had numerous talks with my VP. We didn't always see eye to eye, but we did over time. I picked up a few nuggets from him, and I'm sure I taught him some things too. And rest in peace. He passed away a few years ago, and I went to his funeral. I mean, we didn't, and it was good to see some of the old managers and some of the old people and his wife. And anyway, I had that surgery. One of the things he talked about in these meetings, in sales managers, you got to be careful about what you say in your meetings. When you're trying to train sales managers or executive staff, rather, you got to watch what you say. When you say stuff like, if people want to go, let them go. I disagree with that. Sometimes they don't want to go, but you force them to go by not having any type of empathy or care, and they put money in your pocket. My grandfather had surgery. I've been there 4 years doing that religiously. Made this man a lot of money. My regional manager a lot of money, and my VP a lot of money. I watched his income go up. I was 60% of my regional manager's household income. I mean, at the time, he bought like a $400,000 townhouse. His wife, his fiance at the time was like, "Thank you." Yeah. Gotta know how to talk to people. But anyway, when my grandfather had surgery, I took maybe a day or two, whatever. He got toes amputated or something like that. He had congestive heart or something like that. And I was out. And nobody asked about how, they knew what I was doing. Nobody asked about how my grandfather was doing. And they knew about it. That bothered me. They probably shouldn't, but it did. A couple months later, I make a decision. You don't give a shit about me. I can make money anywhere. And literally, initially I was just taking some days. But when I realized after a while, I'm like, damn, ain't nobody called. I've been out of the office. Ain't nobody called to see if I was still breathing or anything. That's what I'm saying when I took the time off. That's what it was. Damn, is he okay? Nothing. Not even doing nothing, putting money in his pocket. I'm not a bad person. I don't think. Am I a bad person? Tell me, am I a bad person? But anyway. I didn't give a shit. So I never went back in the office. My regional manager finally called me about 2 months later, and it was about one of my clients, one of my investment clients, one of my biggest investment clients was calling the office. And I needed to contact him. And eventually I did, and I told him to take his money elsewhere. I'm no longer going to be with that company anymore. Even during that call, he never asked, "How's your dad? How you doing? Everything good?" He didn't give a shit. He soon after I left, because he had to kickstart everything else. I was making a lot of money for that man. Yeah, you can always make money. He told us that. He told us this is the only place. I'm like, that's bullshit. You can't tell me it's the only place we can make money. Second time, I had the swine flu in 2009. I was working for CDW, and I was hacking and coughing for a week. I was in a hospital. When I went to the hospital, they told me basically if you didn't went to sleep that night, you might not have came out. I had like double pneumonia. It had like the same symptoms as COVID, like severely, and I thought I had a common cold. I ain't know. That was like the worst thing ever, and had double pneumonia. And I went to the emergency room that Sunday. I was in the hospital. I couldn't breathe. Nobody asked how I was doing. Nobody during that week where I reflected, like nobody was like, "Dog, you okay?" Maybe one dude. I don't give him credit because he's kept up with me. We kept up with each other throughout, and that's my guy Dylan. But nobody ever put money in their pocket. None of my coworkers. I'm like, they don't give a shit. I'd have died at that desk. They'd be like, "Oh, the dude that was there before you died." Yeah, whatever. Soon after, I made a plan to leave. 10 years. I work for a company now. My dad just was murdered in April 26th. A lot of coworkers they expressed their condolences, and I appreciated each and every one of them. But my senior director, my director, I don't know if senior director or director of sales operations, never said my condolences. Or, "Man, I'm sorry to hear about your dad." Or, neither we interact several times a day, or at least we cross paths. That bothered me. And I finally eventually asked him, and he said, "Well, I didn't know what to say." And I'm like, my condolences would be a start. Sorry to hear about your dad. I mean, it don't have to be anything major. When you went through your divorce, I didn't know what to say. I never went through a divorce. I said, "Man, hey, sorry to hear what you're going through, man. If you ever want to get out of the house, let me know. Go have a drink." Gotta have some empathy for the people you work with, unless you just don't like them. And you ain't gonna like everybody, and that's fine. But just say it. But even if you don't like somebody, something like that happens, you still say it. It's just one of those things like, man, damn, yeah. I hate you that much? Well, that's because you should have fired me a long time ago. Which I don't think so. That bothers me. So, of course, it's always a temptation of what am I going to do? Like, how do I handle this? I don't know. I look at what part of this is in my business plan, my life plan. VP either, but without, I don't know. It just, I don't know. But my managers did and my coworkers did, and that's what got me. That's what gives me. They did. I appreciate that. But those are three things, the three jobs and why I left certain jobs, and I liked them. Got to care about people, coworkers. Yeah, we bust balls and shit like that, but we got to care about each other. If you can get a team together to care about each other, and this and the other, you can do very well. And that comes from coaching baseball too for 30 years. The buy-in that I have for my kids is amazing. Maybe that's what I know. How to build a team. I've built winning teams. I know I've built teams from ground up. This, that, and the other. They asked me what I wanted to do. I was like, I want to be a recruiter. I ain't heard nothing. I've been recruiting for 20 years. Yeah, I didn't go to no college and get a recruiting degree, but I know people. And good people. And they ain't all loud. This, that, the other. Nah. Yeah, I met a lot of people in my life. But anyway, y'all, it's been almost 15 minutes. I gotta go eat, go back and make some of this money. Money. Thanks for watching. What are some of the reasons why you left jobs? Is that something, my thought process, is it off? Let me know. I don't know. That's just my, that's kind of like my thoughts out loud with the world. And interview select people, and I keep good people around me, so I bounce stuff off. So none of these decisions were ever made, like without ever thinking about it, without ever talking to somebody else about it. So you know what I mean. Peace, y'all. Y'all have a great Tuesday. Great day, people. Move like a tortoise.